Hey, it's Jaden.
And Melissa.
And Christy.
We're
the co-founders of Launchers Academy.
And we help dropshippers become successful by providing the most relevant e-commerce strategies.
You're tuning into the Launchers Academy podcast experience,
where you will learn all the ins and outs of how to build your very own successful dropshipping store.
So kick back, take lots of notes, and let's make money this year.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of our Launchers Academy podcast experience. Today, we have a very fun topic on hand and something that you should definitely listen to before you start picking products and the niches of where you should be doing your dropshipping business. Because what we're going to talk about today are the top niches that you should not get into and why. So for this format of the podcast episode, we're going to do popcorn round into the different niches that we don't think you should get into, with many reasons backing up why we don't think you should get into it. So I'm going to start off with Jaden first on what is the first niche you think people should not get into and why?
So the first niche that you need to stay away from, and like when I say need to stay away from, it's bold, underlined, and in capitals. So it's accessories. So accessories meaning like sunglasses, laptop accessories, digital banks, what else? Shoes, stuff like that. Those are the worst things to sell because they do not solve a problem. So if you've listened to our episode where we talked about how to find winning products in 2021, it's not more so about the product. It's more so about like what kind of benefits it has to offer its ideal consumer, what problems it's solving. And when you're selling accessories, like there's a lot of individuals that are very passionate about, for example, sunglasses or maybe the tech space and laptop or desktop accessories. But I'm just going to stick with sunglasses as an example, is they don't solve an actual problem. Right? It's only more for style and fashion. And if we were to kind of peg a problem as like making people look more confident and more beautiful, it's really not a problem. So what you need to understand is accessories don't all do that very well. And you wouldn't know this because you haven't tested it. But, if you had a, fortune teller or a fortune globe in front of you and you asked the question, will I make money selling accessories or sunglasses? And they told you no, you would probably be very happy because you will not waste your time and money to do so. So stay away from accessories because outside of it not being very beneficial to most people or your ideal customer is because it is not a great gateway for you to get into because you don't have the brand and recognition. Because if you're a big brand out there that's reputable for selling accessories or selling sunglasses, it doesn't matter what you sell. People still buy it. But when you start as a dropshipper, you want to be selling something that actually makes sense and solves a problem. So that way people will buy it, not because of your brand, because you don't have one when you start out as a dropshipper, but because it actually solves a problem. It makes an impact. It helps them for the better. And accessories don't necessarily do that. So I would highly recommend staying away from accessories. And if you really want to succeed in dropshipping where your bank account goes up, not bank account going down, then accessories is not the way you want to go. So that would be my tip there and the niche that you need to stay away from.
Awesome. And just to kind of reiterate as well, the reasons that we are talking about niches that you should stay away from is because these are the niches that, while they can make you sales, it's not going to make you a lot of money. And, exactly as Jaden goes into, you'll find the reasons why. Example, you should not go into accessories. Christy's going to talk about example why you should not go into her niche, and I'm going to talk about one as well. But there's going to be some commonalities that you're going to be able to see when you hear each of us speak. So really take note of that. And at the end, we'll also summarize it as well. So with that, I'm going to pass it off to Christy. What would be your top niche of what people should not get into and why?
Yeah, one of the niches that no one should get into it when it comes to dropshipping is definitely clothing. I've come across a lot of people that are selling clothing, and it's just such a competitive space. And as Jaden mentioned, you want products that do solve a problem and are unique as well and provide that wow factor, which clothing oftentimes don't, especially if you're just selling t-shirts or jeans or jackets. It's really hard to stand out in that space, especially you're competing with a lot of big brands out there. And if you don't have a unique product yourself that really solves problems, it's really hard to stand out amongst the competition. So you end up, you're spending a lot on ads and you're trying to compete with all these other big brands while having these products that are just very simple and not very appealing to people usually, especially in the dropshipping space. There are so many other unique products that do solve problems out there. So if you're just going straight into clothing, it's just you're kind of diving into a hole that doesn't provide too much opportunity, especially with the saturation within the fashion market. And you're just competing with a lot of big brands. And that's why, for a lot of people, when you are looking into clothing, I know some people are really, they're really into fashion and they want to sell clothes because they're passionate about that. But this space is definitely not very profitable, I would say, especially while you're starting out new as a dropshipper. So definitely look into other niches because this niche is just very competitive and it's hard to stand out. And you really don't want to sell just clothing just because there's definitely a lot more hot niches out there that could get you more profit and success within the dropshipping space.
Awesome. And just to kind of add on to that as well, when you are selling clothing, there are literally so many people trying to sell clothes. And yes, they can be different styles. And yes, they can be, somewhat unique. But at the end of the day, there's just way too many people trying to sell clothes. And it's very hard to stand out because of how many competitors are out there doing the exact same thing. Awesome. So my last one that I'm going to talk about on the area that you should not get into is jewelry. Reason why is very similar to what Jada and Christy are talking about as well, is in jewelry, it's very saturated. A lot of people are trying to sell in this space as well. But not only that, if you are trying to build a jewelry brand and trying to compete, maybe on the higher end side of things, is if you don't have a brand, it's very, very hard to do so. Because if a customer sees your ad and you are an unknown jewelry store that they come across, maybe if you're trying to sell into the higher bracket of pricing, why would they buy from you when they don't even know your brand story or your brand at all? And I'm not saying is that you can't build a brand, but it's going to be very, very hard to do so, especially because there are just so many jewelry sellers out there selling jewelry. The other part of it is it's very hard to differentiate as well. You're not really solving a problem. And yes, you are solving maybe the problem of increasing confidence because you have different styles of jewelry that are available. But what is really separating you from all of the other jewelry stores out there who is doing the exact same thing? And they spent way more money on advertising or on increasing their brand awareness and all of that years before. It's very hard to compete in this space because it's so saturated and because you're not offering anything new that other jewelry stores are not offering. A different style is not really considered, anything super unique or that wow factor either, because while it can give you some success earlier and give you sales, yes, but over the long term, you're going to find it's going to be very, very hard as well to be profitable and to get even more sales for it to become your winning product. So these are the top 3 niches that you should not get into. To summarize, it's accessories, including laptop accessories, sunglasses, hats, all of that. Christy mentioned clothing, and I mentioned jewelry. And the 3, within these niches, the commonality is really number 1, you are not solving an actual problem. We always emphasize in our previous episodes that if you want to find a dropshipping business and really succeed in it, really see that this become your winning product that can be sustainable in the long term. Remember, in dropshipping, you're not building a temporary business, you're trying to build a long-term business, is that it has to solve a problem or many problems at that. And the reason why is because that is really going to increase the perceived value of your product if it can solve someone's problem. Number two commonality that you'll find within these three products is that they're in very saturated markets. A lot of people are already in these markets, and a lot of people are going to try to get into these markets but won't see much success. So if you're trying to compete in a super saturated market, you really need to stand out. And if any of these products you're selling, it's going to be really hard to stand out if it's just a new style that might be trending for a little while, but it's going to be a fad, and you're not going to be able to continue that momentum. You're going to lose it real fast. And the third commonality amongst these three products is that they don't really, it's more on the vanity metrics, right? They don't really actually go and change people's lives. If your product is able to change someone's life and solve a problem, going back to and looping to that, then that's where you're really going to see success, because now you're truly differentiated from other products that are out there that may try to solve a problem more effectively, more efficiently than other competitors. That's what you want to try to go for.
Hey, it's Jaden. Are you enjoying our episode so far, or our episodes before that? Well, if you are, we just want to thank your loyalty and support for listening to our podcast, because we cannot grow without you. So that's why up to this point, we're going to give you exclusive access where no one else has, in order for us to help you succeed in dropshipping. And this is how it's helped our students become successful. And what we are going to share with you is one of our proven steps in order to find winning products that we believe you would enjoy. So in order for you to claim your exclusive access, all you have to do right now is open up your desktop or your mobile and go to launchersacademy.com/method. That's launchersacademy.com/method. And you'll get a lot of value from there. And also, more importantly, you'll find out exactly how to find your winning products and how it's helped our current students find their winning product, and you'll be on your way to success. So that's launchersacademy.com/method.
So with that, I'm going to pass it back to Christy and Jaden to see if there's anything in addition they want to add to what I just said.
Yeah, I really liked what you talked about there, Melissa, when it comes to having a big brand. So when you are starting out with dropshipping, you are kind of, you're still testing for products. So until you find a winning product, that's when you start building a brand. So when you are testing in the testing phase and the initial stages of dropshipping, it's definitely really hard to compete within the three niches that we just mentioned: jewelry, accessories, clothing, especially if you don't have that brand recognition, right? So a lot of these big brands, they use social media, they use email marketing to really build their community, and that's why they have people coming back and they come up with new styles. But when you are starting out with dropshipping, you want to find that winning product, which is a product that really solves a problem and it's unique and it gives off that wow factor that you can't find, in other retail stores. So you want to take that strategy when you are starting out, that to really ensure success along the way of dropshipping. And then once you find that winning product, that's when you start turning it into a one product store and building your brand around that winning product. So if you start off with these three niches, which we don't recommend at all, it is definitely really hard to compete with these big brands that are already there. And just trying to come up with some new styles, it's definitely not the way to go with dropshipping, at least the way we do dropshipping as well, the right way. So that's just some tips that you should definitely remember, and why you shouldn't go into these niches that we just talked about.
I would say for me, 'cause the question that begs to differ now, as you might be wondering, is when can I sell these things? Because I'm really passionate about it. And if you have that question, what I will say is it's not that you can never sell them. There's a time and place for it. And especially as a new dropshipper, there's no time and place for it. So there's something we call the hybrid approach, which we're going to get into more details later episodes. So make sure you tune in for that. But essentially, our hybrid approach gives you the flexibility and also the security of being able to do something that is going to give you the results and also generate you the revenue you want, and then give you the flexibility and security to go back into something that you're probably not going to find success with. And if you want to learn about the hybrid approach, make sure you stay very ears to the ground and be on the lookout for the episode where we are going to dive deep into it. But as a beginning dropshipper, if you never made more than $10,000, or you have not even launched a single store, and you're deciding where to go or which niche to get into, Don't get into the 3 we mentioned. You can at a later point, but you need to know how to do it. And you also need to know how to start first and how to find success first to go into areas that would least likely give you that success you want right off the bat. So that would be my little tidbit there, but just make sure you check out the episode where we're going to go over exactly what a hybrid approach is and how it's helped many of our students be more clear and see results.
Awesome. And those were very, very great tips to take away as well for this exact episode. And one more tip that I do want to mention as well, if you have not already listened to how to find your winning product, which is within the top 1 to 3 episodes that we had, definitely listen to that, because you'll realize even if you listen to it already, listen to it again, because once you listen to this episode and you go back onto that episode, you'll realize exactly why these 3 niches that we just mentioned do not fit within the winning product category. And we talk really in depth about how to find a winning product. And you'll notice that these are the exact opposites of what you want to look for. So overall, take these tips with you and go back to looking for your winning product, because you guys will be able to get there. But these are the top 3 niches that you definitely shouldn't get into if you want more of a sustainable, long-term winning product and get you those sales and those profits.
Did you enjoy this episode?
If you did, which we believe you did, as we dropped a ton of value,
Support us by giving us a 5-star rating.
That's 5 stars, not 3, not 4, but 5 stars.
Also, we'd love to hear from you, so please leave your comment below.
And we'll be sure to get back to you. Take care, and until next time.